Hello and welcome to the News Button. In today's edition of News Button, we shall discuss about why should a bridge be built between India and Sri Lanka. Friends, while reading the India map, have you ever noticed that teardrop-like structure lying suspended at the tip of the Indian peninsula? Well, as we all know, it's Sri Lanka, India's southern neighbor. A closer look on the Palk-Strait will make visible something called Adam's Bridge. This is the structure which most Indians understand to be submerged remnants of Ram Setu or Setubandh, something, if it was real, would be a marvel in ancient engineering. When we have ushered into 21st century and the age of globalization is in full swing, it is surprising that how and why these two neighbors separated by just few kilometers are still not linked by a sea bridge. In this video, we shall try to explore the reasons why should a sea bridge be built between the two countries. The reasons are not far to seek. India and Sri Lanka are bound by very strong economic and civilizational links. A bridge will act like a conduit to bring the two people much closer, resulting in flourishing business and excellent people-to-people contact. It will also end Lanka's age-old islandish existence, connecting it to mainland Asia. So let's see for ourselves why a sea bridge is a must between the two nations. Well, the first thing that comes to the mind is the Ramayana connection. India and Sri Lanka have enjoyed very strong neighborly as well as civilizational links since time immemorial. As per the famous Indian epic Ramayana, Lanka was a prosperous kingdom ruled by Ravana, who died in an epic battle with Ram for kidnapping his wife. In order to take his army to Lanka, Ram had to construct a Setubandh from Rameshwaram to the island kingdom. Ram didn't annex the kingdom, but as a gesture of goodwill and peace, made Ravana's brother Bibhishan the king of Lanka. Building the India-Sri Lanka sea bridge would be like reliving epic Ram Setu in popular imagination. Reason number two, India and Sri Lanka were politically one. Mythologies apart, for thousands of years, Lanka was under one political dispensation and part of great Indian empires like the Chola Empire. Reason number three, the Buddhist links. Both the countries are bound by strong religious links. Sri Lanka is a Buddhist majority country. According to Sinhalese tradition, Buddhism was first brought to Sri Lanka by a mission sent by Emperor Ashoka in 3rd century BC. The leader of the mission was none other than Mahendra, who is known as Mahinda in Sinhalese. Mahendra's mission traveled to the Mihintale hill, some 8 miles from Anuradhapura. There they summoned the Sinhalese king Tisha, who accepted and adopted Buddhism. The missionaries were settled in the royal pavilion in the city park of Mahamegha, where they preached first to the members of the royal family and then to the common people. Many embraced the new religion, some taking holy orders and joining the Buddhist Sangha. Later, Mahendra sent for his sister Sanghamitra, who arrived with a branch of the Bodhi tree at Bodhagaya, under which the Buddha had attained enlightenment. The sapling was ceremoniously planted in the city. Sanghamitra founded an order of nuns and a stupa. The Thupara Meshatir was built by the king for popular worship. Due to the patronage of King Tisha, by 2nd century BC, the Sinhalese had accepted Buddhism as the mainstream religion. On the Indian side, Sarnath, Shanchi, Bodh Gaya, and other major globally renowned holy places of Buddhist relics have been the major attraction of Sri Lankan tourists. Indian Buddhists too regularly throng Buddhist holy places around Anuradhapura in Sri Lanka for spiritual reasons. A bridge would facilitate tourist inflow to both sides and help promote spiritual tourism, further strengthening religious bonds between the two people. Number 4. Economic reasons. The 21st century world is shaped and dictated by economics much more than anything else. So for any project to look viable, we need to find its economic benefits. If we look at the trade figures, bilateral trade between India and Sri Lanka has increased by around 9 times between 2000-2001 and 2018-2019. A total trade of $6.2 billion was conducted between the two countries in 2018-2019. Out of this, India's exports to Sri Lanka account for 4.7 billion US dollars and imports were 1.5 billion US dollars. In 2018-19, India's top 3 exports to Sri Lanka at the HS2 level of classification have been mineral, fuels, ships and boats, and vehicles, accounting for nearly 43% of total exports to Sri Lanka. India's top 3 imports included ships and boats, residues and waste from the food industries, and coffee, tea, meat, and spices, accounting for 56% of total imports. Although Sri Lanka is not a very significant trading partner for India, India is Sri Lanka's largest trading partner, accounting for 16% of Sri Lanka's total trade with the world. A permanent road bridge to Sri Lanka will definitely bolster Indo-Sri Lankan trade multiple times. Reason number 5, opening Lankan access to Asian mainland. Geographically, Lanka is an island. Therefore, more than India, it is Sri Lanka which needs the bridge the most. The road bridge will not just end Sri Lanka's physical isolation, but provide permanent direct access to Asian landmass through road. It will help open new vistas and economic prosperity for the island nation. Lankan goods can be ferried across Indian road networks to Nepal, Pakistan, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, something which they have never seen before. Then reason number 1, China's influence. Traditionally, India has been one of the most important sources of imports for Sri Lanka. In 1999, about 10% of Sri Lanka's total imports came from India, which increased further to 21% in 2017. However, China's rising clout has made a big dent in India's share in recent years. China's share in Sri Lanka's total trade has jumped from 5% in 2007 to 14% in 2017. Similarly, China's share in Sri Lanka's total imports rose from 8% in 2007 to 20% in 2017. If India has to arrest China's growing economic clout in its strategic backyard, then this sea bridge will provide it with the necessary wherewithal, physical proximity through road links, and a correct identification of export materials will help India gain the strategic edge over China here for sure. Because of the closeness of the ruling Rajapaksa clan with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, China has been allowed to grow at the cost of India in recent times. Several times, India has been elbowed out of key development projects to make way for Chinese companies. Recently, the Colombo port's south terminal, which was owned by the Adanis, was sold by the Sri Lankan government in the 11th hour. However, intense diplomatic efforts have paid rich dividends for India. Recently, due to the visit of India's top diplomat, Mr. Harsh Shringla, India is again back in the business and allowed to work in some key projects in the island, including some oil tanking projects in Trincomalee. The looming threat of PLNAV as part of the strings of pearls strategy by China to encircle India and tighten the noose around India's neck, China has taken Hambantota port in a strategic and tactical move through easy, high-interest loans. Not just this, planned submarines have been reportedly docked in Hambantota. This has alarmed Indian defense establishments. Along with this, under the pretext of marine research, the increased forays of Chinese submarines into Indian Ocean region, which has been traditionally dominated by Indian Navy, have forced Indian Navy to rethink its strategy to counter Chinese naval expansionism. The presence of nuclear-powered Chinese submarines equipped with air-independent propulsion (AIP) poses a grave threat to Indian Navy, cargo shipping, and other national strategic assets. Even the most potent of Indian submarines, like the Scorpion-class subs, do not have AIP system, thus making the Indian Navy incapable of detecting and creating deterrence against the covert operations by Chinese submarines. Recently, a tough Indian naval commander acknowledged the grave threat posed by the plan to Indian national security. The bridge will upset the balance of power as it will foster more Indian presence and probably more defense engagements with Sri Lanka, and going ahead would help India keep a watch on the island's peripheral waters. Next, rising frequency of storms in Indian Ocean. Due to global warming, intensity of cyclonic storms continues to increase in North Indian Ocean region. A new study by Indian scientists reveals that it has increased in both El Nino and La Nina phases over last 4 decades. Going ahead, it is bound to intensify further. This will impact trade and normal shipping in the seas near Sri Lanka. Although the news of shipwrecks have subsided, if the sea becomes increasingly turbulent, the 1947 Ramdas ship disaster-like incidents cannot be ruled out either. The Indian passenger ship SS Ramdas, while bound for Revas in Maharashtra, had capsized in the Arabian Sea on 17 July 1947, killing more than 700 people on board. In order to ensure a permanent non-discontinuing trade route, it will be in Sri Lanka's advantage to support building the bridge sooner than later. The bridge will keep open permanent transit of goods and people even during mild storms. Next, providing staging posts for Indian shipments to Australia and Southeast Asian nations. Sri Lanka's port of Colombo, which commands the bulk of Indian transshipment cargo, is increasingly going under Chinese control and influence. Better links and efforts to bridge trust deficit through mutual understanding will help balance that for India. Going ahead, Colombo and other such ports can act as India's springboard to trade with Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asian nations. This will be complemented by India's new transshipment terminal at Great Nicobar Island, which is under development. Next, we shall discuss about the project viability. Before jumping to examine the viability of such a project, let's see a couple of bridges of this type that are operational now elsewhere in the world. Longest existing sea bridges in the world, like the Hongkong-Zhuhai-Macau bridge, spanning 55 kilometers, consists of a series of 3 cable-stayed bridges and an undersea tunnel and 4 artificial islands connecting Hong Kong, Macau, and Zhuhai. The bridge cost $18.8 billion to be built. It was opened to the public on 24th October 2018. Another such cross-channel connect is the Channel Tunnel, which connects UK with European mainland. A railway tunnel, it spans 50.46 kilometers that connects Palk-Strait with Coquelles beneath the English Channel at the Strait of Dover between UK and France. Back home, our own 5.6 kilometer Bandra-Worli sea link is a classic case in point. The Bandra-Worli sea link, a 5.6 kilometer long, 8-lane wide bridge that links Bandra in the western suburbs of Mumbai with Worli in South Mumbai. India's engineering expert building this sea link and the experience it has in operating the Pamban Sea Bridge that provides a rail link to Pamban Island from Rameswaram will be of immense use in designing and implementing a project of this scale and magnitude. So, how long will it be? How long will be the proposed bridge? Coming to the total length of the bridge, you'll be delighted to know that the total distance from the farthest land point of India, Dhanuskodi, to Thalaimannar in Sri Lanka is just 24 kilometers. It is said that the Ram Setu, the stone bridge between India and Sri Lanka, was made from Dhanuskodi. Once bustling with life, Dhanuskodi has become an abandoned town after it was destroyed during the 1964 Rameswaram cyclone. Located at the southeastern tip of the Pamban Island, it can be reached through Rameswaram. Recently, it took only 7 hours for 2 swimmers from the UK and US to swim across the distance between Thalaimannar and Dhanuskodi. This gives a fair idea of the distance to be bridged. Next. So, all said and done, has there been any bilateral initiatives to build the bridge? Yes, the idea of the Palk-Strait Bridge was first mooted by Ranil Wickremesinghe when he was Prime Minister of Sri Lanka between 2002 and 2004. He called it the Hanuman Bridge. With the cooperation of Sri Lankan and South Indian Chambers of Commerce, workshops were organized in Colombo and Chennai. Wickremesinghe even got a technical blueprint done by Sri Lankan engineers for the project. However, the move received heavy flack from Sri Lankan nationalists who felt it would open the floodgates to illegal Indian immigration. After the BJP came to power, Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari tried hard to put the proposal back on track again, roping in Asian Development Bank to fully fund the project. A funding of 34,000 crore was also earmarked for the project. Once completed, it would have become a part of the Asian highway. Unfortunately, again the project was cold-shouldered due to the opposition from Sri Lankan opposition benches. So let's hope in the coming days better sense would prevail in Sri Lanka. The Lankan government would be able to overcome opposition to give the green signal for the project. It is senseless to withhold a critical project which has the potential to revolutionize trade and economic progress in this part of the world. We must learn from the Channel Tunnel, which has hugely improved trade and commerce between UK and France. Earlier, any such link had been opposed in UK for nearly 150 years, and now the result is there for everyone to see. Let's hope Indian diplomatic efforts caught the eyes and the unreasonable opposition to the proposed bridge in Sri Lanka melts into thin air, because some of this opposition are at the behest of China, and this should, once it fails our way, it will make way for the bridge. Hope you like the conversation. So what are you waiting for? Just share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you haven't already liked, then like and subscribe to our channel. It will help us producing newer videos of your choice. In the next video, we shall discuss about the PLA threat in the Indian Ocean. So stay tuned with us. Till then, goodbye. Thanks for your time.